Guys, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Honorable Commissioners meeting in Roane County, Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Chairman Shannon Hester presiding. God bless these United States, the great state of Tennessee, and this honorable meeting. At this time, Commissioner Hooks will lead us in prayer. Afterwards, please remain standing for the pledge to our nation's flag.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we're grateful for this time to come together. Father, as a government body, Lord, Father God, work for the people of the great county that we're in. Father, we pray for each and every one, Father, here this evening that may have need. Lord, and we're so grateful, Lord, for those that you watched over as they went through a medical procedure, Lord. We're thankful, Lord, that you brought them back. Father, and we pray for Super Jack. Father, help him, Father, to continue to grow strong. Father, and bless this meeting that be conducted in decent and in order. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated, and please silence your cell phones. All right, good evening. Welcome. Roll has been called. Before we get started on the approval of the minutes, let me take a point of personal privilege. I'd like to thank everybody for their prayer support and everything else. For those that don't know, Tuesday, May 2nd, I suffered a heart attack at home. Made a phone call. You know, as a rural resident of Roane County, there's several things you want to happen. You call the fire department, they show up. You call a sheriff's office, they show up. And you know, I never even included the ambulance service in that, Kim, so, and because I'd never had to dial 911 from my house before. Called them, 12 minutes arrival time, within 45 minutes, I'm in a hospital, getting treatment for the heart attack, so, and that's the reason I'm probably here today, that, one, I wasn't stubborn and bullheaded, and I knew what was going on, and we took action, so. Tim, the two individuals that, service there that night were Bill Swaggerty and Jessica Kate. Is that correct? Both paramedics?
Yes, sir.
So, not that I like getting to know people on their first name that work in that industry, but I do appreciate their service that night. So thank you, sir.
I'd like to amend the stubborn and bullheaded.
Yeah, thank you all. It's definitely, something I don't want to do again, so, I just thought I'd make mention of that. All right, approval of minutes of the April 10th meeting for 2023. I have a motion. Motion by Hooks, second by Wilson. Mr. Hooks.
Nothing further.
Mr. Wilson.
Nothing further.
All right. Madam Clerk? Or is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call the roll. All right. Acceptance of committee reports and correspondence. I have a motion. I have a second. I don't see who, there we go.
Sorry.
Motion by Commissioner Berry, second by Mr. Dove. Commissioner Berry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On correspondence number 11, building permits issued 23. If you had a chance to look at the rundown that we get weekly on out of our executive's office, it's amazing what's going on with our building permits. First of all, we're showing a 3.1% growth, which is great. Actually higher than Anderson County and some other counties around us. So we're hopefully going to break out of the bubble. But the thing that caught my attention was year to date, we've had 418 permits, $31.9 million of evaluation, and $165,332 in fees. Mr. Cofer?
Yes, sir.
Can you confirm that?
Yes, sir. It's actually 450 permits now, and looking at 35 million in valuation, and we're up to right at 180 on fees.
Hey, Mr. Berry, can I add something to that point you just made?
Sure.
On Friday, I called Mr. Coper into my office to do exactly what you just did. Can you confirm that this is real? Because this doesn't seem like it's a real number. And he said, we're at 26 permits a day. Now, those aren't all homes. Some of them are swimming pools and decks, but you see from this map, many of them are homes too, so it's. Yeah.
Well, and let the term trailer trash go down to 2, because we had one double wide for $182,000.
We've actually had a double wide put in this county that was a little over $280,000.
Wow.
And if you would share the 2 homes that are going up.
We have 2 pretty significant homes going up. One's in Grand Vista Bay down in Rockwood, which is an 8,000 square foot home. And then we have a home that's going to be in total a little over 17,000 square foot. It's under construction right now too. And it's unbelievable how big these things are. Both of them have elevators in them.
Thank you. I just wanted to, and the $165,000 in fees goes to general fund?
Yes, it does.
So that's, I guess when folks are saying, you know, and we've been waiting for this kind of energy and this kind of excitement and this kind of news, so I just wanted to verify that we're there.
Thank you, sir.
And number 16 shows the growth across the state. And if you look at just any county abutting Davidson County, 3.1% of growth was really good. Number 17, Mr. Cresswell, I'm sure you've been in touch with our friend Bert on this TVA transmission line.
Yes, sir.
And that looks like that's going.
Yeah, it's moving forward. You see that they're doing surveys this year and they'll work to start next year.
And our debt policy, that's the annual debt policy news that you get to share with us about what's going on with debt policy, and so there should be.
Right now, we're paying debt off.
Okay.
So also too, and I'm glad you brought that, that's in my report, I'll cut that up. So as a requirement of 3-star grant status, we have to notify, or you all have to be notified of what the debt policy is. That's why this is in your packet.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Mr. Duff,
Nothing further.
any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll. Already passed. All right, next is notaries. Do we have any notaries?
Yes, we have 13.
Hold on, could you read them?
Sandra Bandy, Amy Boss, Jason Crawford, Amanda Doherty, Megan Hamilton, Shemaiah Hampton, Alexis Hanson, William Phipps, Amanda Randolph, Andrew Thompson, Kimberly Thornton, Alexis Walton, and Brandon Wilson.
All right, do I hear a motion? All right, motion by Hooks, second by Henderson. Commissioner Hooks.
Just proud that they have people that's willing to step up and serve.
Commissioner Henderson.
Appreciate your willingness to serve.
Any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, post vote. Majority passed. All right, this time it's time to hear from our delegations here, from our residents of Roane County. So if you would, if you have something to bring in front of the commission, please come up. We do ask that you be limit yourself to 3 minutes, so please.
Good evening, I'm Justin Snow, I'm the interim president at the Roane Alliance, and it's good to see everybody tonight. I'm excited that I get to share with you tonight our annual report. 2022 was a great year for the Roane Alliance, so I'm going to pass these out. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Of course, I'm not going to go through the whole report tonight, but I would encourage you, when you have time to go through the report, it shows the entire scope of work of what's happening at the Roane Alliance. So just a few highlights. We had a couple of firsts. This year in Roane County, the Tackle Leadership Conference for the first time was held in Roane County. I've never been to a ribbon tying event. I've been to ribbon cuttings, but I went to my first ribbon tying event at Jamestown Assisted Living. The Emergency Response Training Facility in Oak Ridge received its certificate of occupancy on October the 31st. Of course, the building was delivered on time and under budget. The groundbreaking for the Rockwood Marina and RV Resort was on November the 29th. Has anybody been out to Rockwood lately to see that? It's pretty amazing how much that project's moving right along. So Dan Barnett and his team are doing a great job. Not to say that we're not losing jobs, but I'm proud to say that for 9 consecutive years, we've had positive net job growth in the county. That's something to be proud of. Since COVID, Mr. Berry alluded to this, the county's population has increased 3%. And we have, what I'm most proud about, $1.4 million in land sales that are now resulting in projects coming to fruition. So a lot of y'all are looking at me like, it's still going forward. That project is going to happen. XYZ is what we'll call it. They signed the building contract with that developer 5 or 6 weeks ago. So I call all the time saying, when can we tell people about this? But it's moving forward. Has anybody been out to the park lately? Yeah. It's amazing. If you haven't been, I would encourage you to go to Roane Regional. Drive out to the new access road. It's 260,000 square feet are going up right now. So
I drove all around it, just told them, when they asked me that, I just told them your name. They were good with it.
but that's fine, yeah. But if you haven't been out there, I would encourage you to go. It's amazing what's going on at the park. I'm going to mention just a couple other things. In a partnership with ETHRA and the city of Rockwood, we're having a job fair this Wednesday, 10 to 1 in Rockwood at the Rockwood Community Center. And then in Harriman, in a partnership with Roane Lights, this is something we're sponsoring throughout the summer, or at least the next couple of months, but Rockin' on Roane in Harriman. So live band, we'll have food trucks. It's a real fun event. We went to the last one, so you'll see a lot of us there Friday night. And last but not least, I just want to
Wind it up, please.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I do want to introduce one of our team members tonight with Roane Lights. I have Jennifer Brown with me. Most of y'all know Jennifer. Raise your hand. Yeah, she's the event coordinator for the Roane Lights. And many of y'all went to the Roane Gala, right? Everybody have a good time? Yeah, she organized the entire event. So she's going to be promoted. She'll be the new Education and Workforce Development Director when Alan Lutz retires later this year. So thank y'all for your time.
You want to say some more, I yield you the floor.
What?
You need to say more, I yield the floor.
Actually, we're not in session.
Huh? Well, after we go back, I guess after we go back, I just want to let you speak.
Can I 30 more seconds to brag on my team?
Go ahead.
All right, here we go. I do want to brag on our team. When all this went down in November, a lot of change within our building. I had a lot of people looking at me asking, what do we want to do? So what we've done the past 6 months, so proud of this team. Not only are we doing our normal everyday jobs, we pulled off, I never put together an annual report, but we got a pretty good annual report. I challenged the team to have the best gala event ever in Roane County. That's what happened last Friday. We raised more money than any previous gala event, and it wasn't even close. So we'll do a press release on that. Challenge the team, and they took the challenge. And last but not least, working in the background, we're silently winning the biggest project in the county's history as far as industrial development with XYZ. So, cannot say enough about that.
Instead of calling it XYZ, could we call it ABC?
Not yet.
It seems like we're the last of the alphabet.
I do appreciate the extra time. Thank you, Mr. Hester.
All right, anyone else want to address the commission? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we'll close this portion out. At this time, we'll go to the county attorney's report, which should be none, unless you have something from him.
No, Mr. Leffy's father-in-law had a heart attack over the weekend, and they are out of town.
All right, then it's time for the county executive's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I just want to say, build on your opening comments, that we are thankful for you, for your toughness, for your leadership, and for the people who helped get you to where you are. For you to have a heart attack on Wednesday morning and be sitting in my office on a Friday seems to be above and beyond in your service to this county and this body. And I just want to say thank you, and I wanted to ask the commission to join me in thanking you.
Especially that way, we're streaming and my wife didn't know I was out of the house.
She knows now. A few points. First of all, the Roane County Opioid Settlement Funds Advisory Committee. I apologize for the name, but that's what I came up with. We'll meet on May 25th. I anticipate that that committee will be able to provide a recommendation to this commission for spending the available settlement funds, I'm guessing 3 to 5 meetings. We'll see exactly how that plays out, but I'd like to have a recommendation to you in the next few months after they've been able to meet. The Tennessee Broadband Accelerate Program that I've mentioned to you all a couple of times has begun. Roane County was one of 5 counties across the state chosen to participate. A team assembled from across the county is in week 3 of the program. It'll run 16 consecutive weeks, resulting in a plan that best suits Roane County for bringing broadband service to every home and every business. So really excited about the work that team's going to do. In September 2021, Roane County ordered 2 new ambulances using ARP funds. So I have good news and bad news. So I'm happy to report that they were finally delivered last week. And the bad news is one of them was damaged. But so that one it's cosmetic mainly. So that one has been sent back to be repaired quickly. We kept one obviously that we put into service, but soon we will have 2 brand new ambulances in service. And that should happen really soon. On another note, the Department of Energy Environmental Management Office in Oak Ridge was chosen to participate on a panel discussing the repurposing of former nuclear facility sites at the Nuclear Decommissioning Conference at the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, Austria. Laura Wilkerson, the Deputy Manager for DOE-EM in Oak Ridge, invited me to join her on a panel as a community official to discuss the impact of repurposing sites and making them useful for private investment. Again, this is an incredible opportunity, really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to talk about Roane County to an international audience on the global stage. So I'll be out of town next week for that conference.
Are they picking the bill up?
All of it. Yes, 100%. The Roane County taxpayers will pay for none of it. And then finally, my final point is that beginning next Monday, May 15th, Lindsay Stevens in my office will be working part-time. She'll be moving full-time to part-time. Because of this decrease in availability, all commission activities will be coordinated through the clerk's office. This is a transition. This transition is something we've been working on with the clerk's office since January. It's obviously added some urgency to it. But specifically, what is moving from our office to the clerk's office, or the clerk's responsibility, is a scheduling of committee appointments, public notices, and arrangement of travel. In the meantime, there will be an overlap, of course, as we hand that off and Beth gets that stood up completely. We're not going to leave anybody, in a bad position at all. But Lindsay's moving to 29 hours, so the available bandwidth to take care of you and all the things else that go in that office as we move into the clerk's office. So with that being said, I'm glad to answer questions, but Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
All right, any questions for the county executive? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on to special order. All right, special order number 1, confirmation of reappointment of Scott Stout to the Roane County Board of Zoning Appeals. Motion and second. Motion by Commissioner Hooks, second by Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Hooks.
Honored to recommend Scott to go back to that committee. I'm sure he does a good job.
Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, call the vote. All right, unanimous pass. All right, second special order, confirmation of reappointment of Donna Bobby to the Roane County Board of Zoning Appeals as an alternate. The term will expire May 31st, 2028. Motion by Mr. Berry, second by Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, Ms. Bobby's husband is on the planning commission. They are probably about a 6-year resident of Roane County, so we're getting new people involved in, from the 5th District, in community service, and she will do an exceptional job. She has been president of the Gardeners Club, so she's active in the community and will do a great job.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Yes, sir.
any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the vote. Majority passed. Confirmation of appointment of Ellison Beard to serve as a member of the Roane County Board of Zoning Appeals. The new term will expire May 31st, 2028. Motion by Commissioner Parks, second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Parks.
I think she'll do a fantastic job.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. Confirmation appointment of Candace Peacock to the Roane County Industrial Development Board and Health Education and Housing Facilities Board to fill vacancy. This is a new term, will expire March 1st, 2029. Motion by Commissioner Berry, second by Commissioner Leland. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, another, I guess in this case, District 5, appointment, District 1 and District 5 are all the same sometimes. Ms. Peacock is worked at Planet Inc. In Rockwood, which is an industrial plant there. They paint and refurbish bridges. So they're all over the southeast. She's been there about 8 years. She is here. There's Ms. Peacock, and I don't think that the industrial board could do any finer than picking her. Plus, she may be the only woman on that board. So hats off to you, Ms. Peacock, for taking on this group. She'll do a great job.
All right, Commissioner Lehman.
I concur.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the vote. Majority passed. And our last one, confirmation appointment of Jeff, and help me out here, somebody. Sickow, to the Roane County Industrial Development Board and Health and Education and Housing Facility Board to fill a vacancy, new term, March 1st, 2029. Motion by Commissioner Brackett, second by Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Brackett.
You'll do a great job.
Commissioner Henderson.
Ain't nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. Next up is our zoning resolution. This is zoning, resolution 052301 Zulu, resolution of the Roane County Planning Commission recommending action by the Roane County Legislative, Commission on the resolution amending the, map, as requested by Jacob Alman to rezone map 039M, parcel 002. Motion by Brackett, and second by Commissioner Ferguson. Commissioner Brackett.
Nothing.
And Commissioner Ferguson.
Don't have anything, it passed through the, planning commission.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed, and old business is none. New business, Commissioner Henderson had asked me, to have a point for, some new business. Commissioner Henderson.
About 1983, I went to work with Bill Golston at Bill Golston's Record Service. And my first wreck was at the north end of Harriman, around Cumberland Utility District. The car was cut in half and the motor and transmission were still intact but outside of the car. First off, we had to search for the bodies. We found them. And then after that, we had to start working on getting the road open. But once we got that done, they was like a 40, 60 foot, just over embankment. But car parts everywhere. You know, and then late at night, man, you know, I was up in car parts up and down that hill, you know, till we got done. You know, he'd call in another truck or roll back, and we'd pile stuff on it. That's what we're supposed to do, we're supposed to clean up the wreck. So, let's see. For example, a towing company drivers that remove a wrecked or damaged vehicle from the highway shall remove any glass or other ingenious substance dropped upon the highway from the vehicle. That's TCA 55-8-170. I'm putting together a resolution, and I'd like y'all's support for next month. But a week ago, we had a wreck out there by my house. Had a fatality in it. There was a quarter of a mile from their home. That boy's parents had to drive by that wreck scene every day. Brothers, stepmom, dad. And there was nothing picked up. All the debris was still all over the road. And I went out there Sunday and, you know, because I'd done this before, I knew to look over the bank. I found a shoe, found a cell phone, boy's learner's permit, debit cards, all that. I found it. But I also found a bunch of debris. My brother and other people in the community had went by and picked up all the big stuff, what they could. I went by Sunday, and this is after everybody else had picked up. We spend thousands of dollars every year to pick up litter with the highway department, Roane. And we're leaving this in our neighborhoods trashed all over the place. I would like to do a resolution where we make it where they will pick up their behind them. That's every record service I worked for. We picked it up. We swept the road. I swept a 4-lane highway before, 2-lane blacktop. It didn't matter. You swept it. You got everything up. We carried speedy dry, shovels, brooms, all that. Pick all that up. If we needed more equipment, we brought it. Whether it's a truck or a bobcat, cleaned it up. The windshield was still laying against the tree. All of that stuff was still left out in our neighborhoods. And it's like that in our cities and everywhere else, that they're not picking up behind themselves. And we need to enforce something that they're going to. That there was a highway patrol wreck, and that was a highway patrol TCA that I read. That's in the book that they're supposed to do it. I don't know if the cities or the county had that, but we need to enforce that and make sure that it is happening. Because there's no sense to me, after everybody else has picked up that wreck scene, be able to pick up all that. Yeah, that's a shame. I don't care that it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We still went and picked it up. And we need to do something to enforce it to make them do that. Otherwise, we're just throwing good money after bad, trying to pick up the litter in this community, in this town, in our industrial parks, everywhere else. We're spending good money, to pick it up. So that's the end of my presentation. I just like for y'all to have y'all support next month when I bring it full commission. Greg Lefew is working on it right now for me. And if anybody likes to sign on, sponsor with me on it, I'd appreciate it. Wade, you got anything?
Well, just, first of all, I was at this kid's funeral Sunday afternoon and just happened to be outside, and Junior walks up. And I had a look on his face, and I was like, I just said, hey, he said, I just found this. I was just on the crash site and found the kid's phone and ID. And, I know Junior's talking about litter right now, but really what we talked about at the time was the emotional impact that these scenes can leave when they're left unclean. So that family was driving by there every single day. Mr. Ferguson and his team went down and cut down the tree that the kid actually hit. Thank goodness to remove that. But
yeah, I think and asked him about it. The tree was damaged, and I think HEB came out and cut it, and then we hauled it off.
Okay.
But that family's having to drive by that every day.
Right.
And now there's no sign of it ever being there. I know they still look at that spot, but there's no sign of it.
But just the point being that this is a bigger issue than just litter. So I appreciated Mr. Hendrickson doing that. And it was emotional time to say the least.
It was. When I gave it to the stepfather, I had to catch it because he was just squalling this week, you know, and them having to drive by that every day, it's no good. I've got enough of a reminder without actually seeing. I picked up enough, just small parts to realize that was a Volkswagen, some type of Volkswagen, I think. I actually found the oil cap off the motor. You know, that's a hard leak. And the wreck services need to start doing their job and clean up the wreck scene. I don't know how many times I've had to call 911 to get the fire department to come out there and hammer me and spray all the glass out of the road. I think this chief will wear them when I've done that. You know, there's no sense in it. We don't need to be pulling them off to clear the glass out of the road. We swept it. You know, that's all I've got.
All right, we'll continue with our new business. First up is 05-2301, resolution authorizing the county attorney to file a lawsuit regarding properties as listed on the attached case request. You can see it in your packet as well. I have a motion. All right, do I? Motion by Commissioner Hooks and second by Commissioner Berry. Commissioner Hooks.
At this time, we would normally yield to the county attorney, he's not here, but if it's a violation of the code, then they need to comply.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Berry. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed. Next up is resolution 5-2302, a resolution to reject a conveyance of and authorize the county executive to file a lawsuit to nullify a deed. Motion by Wilson, second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
From the county attorney, this would be the same scenario. We would generally turn towards him, but he's not here, so.
This is the point I think he's talked about at the last meeting where he was trying to do it.
All right.
It is.
You know, off of, Whippoorwill, off of Whippoorwill in Oak Ridge, West Hills area.
And the yes vote is to reject
And file a suit.
Right.
He said, he recommended that as the way to not accept this property. This lady's deeded it to us. And, Mr. Lefty's advice is to reject it and allow him to file suit to remove us off the deed.
Yes. Resolution to reject the conveyance and authorize the county attorney to file suit. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. Next is 05-2303, resolution authorizing the county attorney to file suit against the HME Incorporated and M3 Fire Apparatus LLC regarding a mini pump truck. Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
I would actually like to go ahead and yield to Brad. You're dealing with this daily.
All right,
We've been dealing with this for a while.
let me get it fully forward.
All right, go ahead.
Commissioner Gann.
No, I agree with Ben. Brad speak on it.
Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, we probably need to make an amendment on this, because it goes down that, where it says, whereas Roane County EMS, that's probably something that the attorney will have to change before we can actually file it, but it needs to be, him does not need to read OES. Just that line right there needs to read, it says, whereas Roane County EMS has been advised, it should be Roane County OES. I just wanted to make that out, so once this is done, they don't look and say, you know, well, this is not even the right agency, so.
All right, I think we
Yeah,
can do that.
with the amendment.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Are we doing a friendly amendment, or do you wanna vote?
No, friendly amendment, it's three-digit character identity. No. All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, we talked about it at our OMS meeting. I would yield to Tim if I think we've gotten it back, taken it back, got it back. We given it to the attorney, and now we're at this point.
The truck was purchased on a grant prior to 2019. It's been out of service more than it's been in service. They've been here, they've fixed it, they've tried to fix it. At this point, they would like us to send the truck to Michigan for repairs and evaluation, which we talked to Mr. Lefty today, and we're working out the details on that. But this has gone on for over 4 years, and the truck is a safety hazard. We can't use it to fight fire. We can't put anybody on an interior attack utilizing this piece of equipment, and it's just crippling the department and the response in this community.
And I think, Mr. Chairman, we indicated when they would come and work on it, their folks knew what to do to short wire it, that for say, to get it to work, and then we get right back and it won't work again. So we're going through the same thing. So instead of playing musical chairs, we've asked him to just get the lawsuit ready.
We actually can get the truck to work, but just independently by itself, the pressure on the hose changes, and we've actually injured one of our firefighters, had a workman's comp injury related to this truck already, and it's just not safe to ask our folks to go into a burning structure with this being their lifeline.
Then we should add that injury expense to our lawsuit as well then. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unless Tim has anything else.
Commissioner Henderson.
Mr. Suter, is there like a mileage or age limit of the fire truck?
For use over its lifespan,
Yes.
There is an NFPA standard. Brad may know this answer better than I do. Our other truck that we have in our fleet's a 1996. So this truck is, I think it's an 18. So, I mean, it's well within its lifespan. It's just not.
Well, what I'm wondering is, with all this trouble, it's shortened its lifespan for our use for what we paid for it.
When we bought the truck, it was a demo. The grant provided us the opportunity to purchase a new truck. We were able to save some money. This was prior to me being in this office,
Right.
but we were able to purchase this truck as a demo and save a little bit of money. If you go buy your car, you might want to buy a demo, but a fire truck who has been driven around to every fire department where they come out and pull knobs and drive around the pump, it's not something you can do with a piece of fire equipment.
I think so.
All right, anyone, Mr. Goss, I'll come to you for this. All right, Commissioner Goss.
Then, Mr. Chairman, I just need to let them know that the way I vote on this, that I am an employee of OES.
Sure. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed. Next resolution, 52304, resolution placing surplus of certain property assessor's vehicle as described. Motion second. Motion by Commissioner Gann, second by Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Gann.
He'll use it, sell it.
All right, Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further, sell it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Commissioner Berry.
Mr. Chairman, the only reason this didn't go to the property committee was this was the only thing on the property committee, and we thought since there was only one vehicle involved in this thing, it would be better to forego the property committee expense of the meeting, so that's why it didn't go to the property.
The meeting would have cost more than the vehicle, that's what you're saying. You saved the taxpayers. Thank you, Commissioner Berry. All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk.
I'm trying to, it just says no internet connection.
Would you like to voice your vote?
Yes.
Say
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Yes on yes.
all right, resolution passes. Resolution 52305, a resolution to adopt the State of Tennessee Length of Service Award Program and participation agreement. Motion and a second. Brad, are you still requesting to speak, or is that something else?
Yeah, I need to on this one again too, sir. You may
Motion
have
by,
to wait till it's voted on.
yeah, let me get it on the table. Motion by Commissioner Dove, second by Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Dove.
I'd like to yield to our county executive or to Casey Lamance.
All right, wait a minute.
Yes.
Commissioner Cunningham.
That's perfect.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were approached by Senator Yeager's office a few months ago to bring the treasurer, state of Tennessee treasurer, and his team to Roane County to present this brand-new plan that's been created through the legislature and been administrated through the treasurer's office. And it's the length of service award program for volunteer firefighters. And the whole point behind it is to create an incentive that would help recruit and retain volunteer firefighters over time. I think we all know what a challenge it is to find volunteer firefighters right now. And Senator Yeager made this one of his priorities. In fact, it's one of the first calls I received when I was elected. So about a month ago, maybe a little bit more, the treasurer came down and presented this to us. We've been working on the draft language in the background until today, as a matter of fact. And I'm proud to put this in your packet and bring it to you for consideration in whatever form this comes out of your ad. But we have representation here from the treasurer's office who can answer any questions you may have, but that's the basis behind the program.
All right, Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, I actually want to do an amendment on this, on changing a section of it. So I need to do that now, or wait till,
Yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
can make a motion to amend.
okay, I need to make a motion to amend on Appendix A, the eligibility criteria. Section C, it says completes no less than 16 hours of annual training approved by a single eligible employer. I'd like to amend that to 40 hours. And the reason that I think it should be bumped up through the money that the volunteer firefighters currently receive from the state of Tennessee, they have to do 30 hours already in order to get their $600 supplement paid. So, 16 hours, once they get 16 hours done, then they're gonna say, well, my 16 hours is done, so I'm available for the local plant program. So
All right, do I hear a second for his amendment?
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Berry.
I guess, Mr. Chairman, can we amend it? Is this something that is this a state resolution, or can we amend the state resolution?
Nope, and we can refer to Justin here in just a second, but when they sent me the draft language, it was up to us, working with our volunteer fire chiefs, to establish what the criteria was for eligibility and for forfeiture. And that's what you're talking about here.
So I guess my other question would be, we're talking about volunteer firemen, and we're asking them to do more hours of training than the state was required for this grant?
My understanding is, the state recommendation, not requirement,
Okay.
recommendation, was, in this one, was 16 hours.
Okay.
And then for the response call percentage, which was number 2, is that right? Yeah, their recommendation was 15%. Our fire chief's recommendation was for 5% call response rate and 40 hours on the training time. So my understanding is that the fire chiefs were for the 40 hours. In fact, we have one of our fire chiefs here tonight, Casey Lamance, who could speak on that potentially for us. But I think on the training hours, they were pretty much united on the 40 hours.
Okay.
Because they're all doing more than that right now anyway.
So the ones that we have are doing more than that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, is that right?
I guess the chief, if you don't care, or if we add more hours, I mean, we're already having trouble in most areas, I think you're probably one of the few that's not having trouble, but are we gonna make it more difficult to get
No,
volunteers?
40 hours is bare minimum.
Okay.
One vehicle extrication class for research, 16 hours. And we're talking drive time, CPR certs, extrication, EVOC and SK-free. That's very easily obtained in 40 hours.
Very good. I just wanna make sure we weren't messing up with our resolution, but that's good. Good point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so we are on the amendment, any other discussion on the amendment as amended?
No.
Commissioner Parks?
No. No, I was gonna make another amendment after this one.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on 523-05 as amended.
Or is this the amendment
No,
itself?
it's the amendment.
This is the amendment
Just the
itself.
amendment.
Yeah, okay, amendment. Call the roll on the amendment. Motion passed. All right, at this time, we're gonna, go back to 0523-05 as amended. I hear a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Duff, and Commissioner Cunningham. Duff. Commissioner Cunningham. Commissioner Parks.
I'd like to amend it, the state recommended 15%, and it's at 10, I'd like to make a motion to make it 15% as the state recommended.
So you're referring to Appendix A, subsection B, response to no less than, should read 15% of the annual calls of a single eligible employee. Is that correct? All right. Do I have a second? For that motion. All right. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, can we, for call volume, Mr. Lance, can you kind of give us a call volume so everybody knows what we're looking at?
So last year, my emergency reporting, at 10% out of 15 of us, I would have had 7 people eligible. Thing we run into, this year I'll be pushing 900 calls at my department. At 15%, that's gonna drastically cut the members that I've got that's gonna be eligible for this. I feel like that I'm one of the departments that has the best response. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I feel that way. At 10%, I would have had 8. What we have to look at is the call volume. We run first response program, which I think everybody but Midtown and South is getting theirs. So our call volume is way up than others. A lot of that's daytime that we're working, so we're out. I mean, we're running 3 and 4 calls a day. A lot of that's from 7:30 to 3:30, you know, and that's the whole purpose of OES being put in place, is to cover that shortfall.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, any other discussion? Commissioner Duff?
What is your recommendation on the call percentage?
The chiefs had a meeting, we all voted on 5%. And that was kind of an overall to get the maximum amount of people qualified. We also put in there, 4 monthly meetings a year, which is a third, that they had to maintain active status pretty much. So my recommendation as far as the chief, and I can't go against what we voted on, was 5%.
So when you say we, That's all the chiefs
That's
voted
the
on,
five
5%.
volunteer fire chiefs, yes, sir.
And,
And the reason it's 10% is because I compromised on the paper. That's it. It was 15 at state, 5 for the chiefs, it's 10 on paper, so that can go whichever
it's
way.
10
you want.
now, Commissioner Parks won't raise it to 15. All right. Commissioner, Berry.
Yes, I guess from the state. For those, and I guess, Chief, are most of your calls fire calls or medical calls?
Oh, man.
Okay, so I guess my question is, can we separate the medical calls from the fire calls? So basically, we're looking at volunteer firemen, right?
Yes, so you can set the criteria essentially how you want, and, you know, whoever crosses that threshold.
It just seems it would be harder to make a medical call during the day than it would be a fire call, and more frequent. So we can separate so that you can put a percentage for just fire calls to get this in place.
Yeah, so you all, as the umbrella entity, set the criteria for who qualifies, so that would be up to you, how you want to do that. You just have to track it, and, you know, whoever qualifies then would be eligible for the award program.
So Chief, getting back to you, I guess then, is what, does that make it any easier for percentage-wise for you?
How we would report to the fire board was, we've all got emergency reporting. So breaking it down, it can be done, but it's just a whole lot easier just go with the call volume as a whole.
Because I think we get a report, don't we, that shows the number of fire calls, medical calls from each.
At the fire chiefs meeting, they do break it down like that by type of responses. These fire departments, if you eliminate the EMS calls, the medical calls from what they do, some of the departments, the fire calls, it can be really hard to make your percentage based on that number.
Has this been to the fire board?
Yes.
Well, not in the proposal.
Then
So this didn't come from the fire board?
I would move that we send it to the fire board, and let the fire board come up with the chiefs.
Well, I mean, we brought it up. Yeah, I'm talking about the actual
Resolution, the resolution didn't come.
Yeah, I would move then that we send it back to this resolution to the fire board, and get their recommendation, so they can get with the chiefs and try to figure it out.
So are you, let me deal with this amendment, then if you're making a motion to, defer or just,
Yeah, I'd make a motion to defer it back to the fire board.
all right, let me deal with the,
So that motion would, to defer.
yeah, let me deal with this, and then, we'll deal with that. So your motion is to defer, so I'm writing it down. All right, next up to speak is, Commissioner Bell.
The only thing I would ask about deferring it, are we on a time frame here? That's the big, you tell me defer, are we gonna miss out on anything, or is this something that's gonna come into effect months from now? And I don't know who I would ask, I guess the treasurer.
I'm not the treasurer, with the Treasury Department, yeah. So you can pass it at any point. The grant funding starts on July 1st, but that first grant amount won't go in until December. It is on a first come, first served basis, but again, if it waits till next month, I don't think that's gonna delay you out of getting the grant money. Yeah.
That's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Commissioner Wilson.
I just want to make clarity, this did come before the fire board, it was the proposal, the final proposal that was never, just brought. That's the proposal to move it forward into the hands of the chiefs and the county executive is what our recommendation was, so that's all it was.
But they've not seen this draft resolution?
That is correct.
Okay, and they've not seen the numerical reference to the calls or the hours?
They have not.
Okay, that provides clarity. All right, any other discussion on this amendment, 052305? We're amending 40 hours, then we're amending,
I think the motion to defer will take precedence, I think, Mr. Chairman.
I've got a big thick book here, I challenge both of us to look at it, but, does anyone else?
We've got two speakers.
Yeah, I was the first one to request this meeting, but I'll wait till everybody else is finished.
Do what?
We've got two speakers on the board.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They probably got us mixed up, then.
I'd say
Commissioner
so.
Gann and then Commissioner Dodd.
Commissioner Gant, please speak.
Thank you, sir. So, Casey, I know we have a problem with incentives getting volunteer firemen. That's one of Roane County's biggest problems right now in our fire departments, is getting people to volunteer. So, this is an incentive. What's the difference would the incentive be between a 5%, 10%, or 15%? Because right now, I'm on the fire board, we hear it every meeting, we're losing people, we can't get people, we're trying to figure out how to do it. So, what's the difference with incentive-wise between 5, 10, and 15?
For my department, you're probably looking at from 5 to 15, you're probably looking at 5 people, 4 to 5 people. That would, at 15, would not be receiving this, that are active members, very active. I mean, we're talking, last year at 701, you would have had to make 105 calls. You know, guys,
How many of your firemen have full-time jobs?
everyone,
What shift, what's the majority of the shift they work?
day shift. I think I've got one that works nights. He's actually a police officer in Oliver Springs. So, you know, and there again, we get a lot of day shift calls. So that's gonna hurt our final numbers. You know, I've got guys that's making 240 calls a year, which is phenomenal. Several making over 100, but then you start dropping drastically from there.
Is this a big incentive to those firemen?
I think it is an incentive. With young kids now, that don't look past their nose, you know, they're in it and out of it. 3 years is the average length of service for a volunteer fire department, or a volunteer firefighter, 3 years. If you keep them 3 years, you've done something.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Commissioner Duff.
I wanted to ask, are you happy with this resolution? Or have you seen the resolution?
I'm happy to take what I can get, okay? If it will help in any form and fashion to retain or recruit, then all 5 fire chiefs are for it.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Parker.
So when I made the motion, I was thinking of it in terms of incentivizing, because not only do we lack volunteers, but we lack people, some departments, not necessarily yours, you can't get people to show up. They're on the books, but they don't show up.
That's mine too.
So my thought at 15, or my reasoning behind it, was to incentivize guys to hit 15, hit that 15%, because my thought, if they get 5%, that's 5 out of every 100 calls.
Right.
Well, next time the phone rings, you know, they don't answer, and it's volunteers, and I know, I mean, you can't get people to work, but they're on volunteers in this day and time. So that's my reasoning and thought process behind the 15, was trying to promote, to incentivize guys that is on the books.
Right.
To answer the call.
Oh, I understand.
And that's my reasoning. It's not to shortchange anybody. It's not to pull people out that would have made it, that might have made it. It was to incentivize guys that is in volunteer fire department to answer a call.
Commissioner Baker.
And with that being said, you that's been doing it as long as you have, what's your feeling on that? Cause you work hand in hand with them, you see the young ones roll in, the different breeds, the different mindsets. Which way, in your opinion, would it work best? Giving them a 15% to make them work harder to get there, or take care of what you got there with the 5%?
I don't wanna sound ungrateful,
No, I don't.
please don't take it that way, but with the mindset of a lot of the younger folks, they're not gonna pay any more attention to this than that. You know, you're taking the majority of my department, I've been 26 years in the fire service for Roane County at Blair. My wife has been over 30, I'm not gonna go that her dad was in it back, so. Mindset, man, we've got to hammer it down. You get one kid in it that really takes it to heart, and then you're gonna have 10 that's just there for a couple of months, and they figure it out. It's not all glamour and TV monitors looking at you, you know, it's work. And it's time, and they're not willing to do it. So, will it help? Possibly. One or two of them that's on that cusp, it may push them to make a few extra runs. But overall, I'm not sure.
All right, any other discussion? Yes.
There's one point we haven't brought up, and that's funding. The way this program is established is the county can contribute between $200 and $6,000 per person per year. We're starting at a minimum contribution, as is the state, at $100. The state, Treasurer's Office and Senator Yeager's office both voiced that they expect the state contribution to increase over time. And that's something that this body can always consider too. But to Casey's point, you know, maybe it doesn't get attention right now, but if it continues to grow to something that's more meaningful, then maybe it could have a bigger impact too. That's all.
All right, any other discussion? Madam Clerk, this is on the amendment, if you would, for 2305, we've already amended to 40 hours. This is the amendment for the 15% participation on subsection B of Appendix A, changing from 10% to 15%. All right, resolution fails. Now we're back to the original resolution, Mr. Berry's deferment to send it back to the fire board, for review, the resolution with all the fire chiefs within itself. Motion to defer, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Commissioner Berry, anything further?
No, I just thought he was going to the fire board before. It doesn't matter. I mean, just let.
Yeah, it was my understanding, and I apologize for not sending this back through, if that was the intent of the fire board. When it was turned over to our office and the chiefs, my understanding was it would then come to this body. But if it's your all's preference that it needs to go back through for review, we're fine to do that too.
All right, Commissioner Bell, you had a second?
No.
All right. Madam Clerk,
This is on the deferral.
I'm sorry, any discussion, I'm sorry.
I make a second.
Do what?
I just want to make a second.
I thought Mr. Bell did.
He did by voice, and then Hooks hit the button before I could.
Okay,
No,
voice and button, I'm sorry. Mr. Hooks, do you have anything?
Well, I'm on the fire board, and this was discussed, at the fire board. And it was my understanding that Senator Yeager, as him being the sponsor, his wishes, it wasn't that it was a directive or anything like that, but his wishes was that his county, would step forward and, be the first to participate in it, since the grant was being opened in July, that he wanted, his county to be one of the first to step up and, apply for this grant. That was my understanding. Now, I may have misunderstood something, but, all of that, and I'm going, understand what Commissioner Berry's saying, but I'm going to vote against the deferment, because I think it needs to be moved forward, as discussed. I don't think, it needs to go back to the fire board. We've heard from the chiefs, we've heard from everybody here that, I feel comfortable with moving forward with it. And I'm a member of the fire board.
Commissioner Hooks, may I ask, when's the next fire board meeting? Who's the chairman of it?
We're on quarterly, so we got,
Second Tuesday of the month.
yeah, so it'd be another 2 months.
Another 2 months before they meet.
Yeah, we went to quarterly. That's why we did it this way.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Gann.
Yeah, so I apologize. I don't know really where the confusion happened. We did discuss this. We actually discussed this prior to our last meeting. I don't know where the confusion came in, and so I apologize for that. I agree with Mr. Hooks, and as Ben said, it's quarterly. Those that's on the fire board that's here, we know we discussed it, we support this, and so we'll go ahead and vote on it. I honestly, I don't see a need for it either. We're agreed.
Commissioner Berry?
I mean, like I said before, I don't have, the only reason I brought it up is because we tend to pick and choose when we want it to go to a committee and when we don't want it to go to a committee. But if this doesn't need to go to committee, I'll withdraw the deferment and we can vote on it. I just want to make sure we're apples and apples on when we send it to a committee.
Okay, you made the motion to withdraw it now, Mr. Hooks, do you accept that as being second?
I would, yes.
All right, Madam Clerk, clear the, roll, let's cast new dice for, 52305 as amended to refer the 40 hours. Do I hear a motion and a second?
We've got the original motion and second on record, Justin Cunningham, but this is fine too.
Okay. Any discussion?
Can we please clarify this motion before we vote on it, please?
Yeah, resolution 052305 as amended, as my notes declare. We changed subsection, C on appendix C to, less than 40 hours. The subsection B remains the same and constant at 10%, and there is no motion to defer. So original motion,
Okay.
it was 40 hours. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll. Majority passed. All right. Challenge me tonight. Thank you, I appreciate that. Resolution 052306. Resolution amending the general fund 101 reflecting changes in the revenue expenditure estimates for 2022-23 fiscal year. Motion and second. Or did I do something? All right, motion by Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Hooks. Commissioner Wilson.
Been before the budget committee, there's gonna be a whole lot of cleanups here.
All right. And Commissioner Hooks.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. Resolution 052307, resolution amending the Highway Public Works Fund 101, reflecting changes in expenditure estimates for 2023 fiscal year. Motion by Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
Ditto statement.
Commissioner Gann. Same. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed. Resolution 052308, resolution amending the general purpose school fund 141, reflecting changes in revenue and expenditures for 2023 fiscal year. Motion by Wilson, second by Hooks. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Hooks.
Nothing further.
Any discussions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. 52309, a resolution amending the Central Cafeteria Fund 143, reflecting changes in revenue expenditures estimate 2022-23. Motion by Henderson and Hooks. Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Hooks.
Just Clint, nothing further.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll. All right, 0523-10, resolution amending the Extended School Program Fund 146, reflecting changes in revenue. Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Henderson, Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Majority passed. 052311, a resolution authorizing the approval of funds from the Capital Fund Project 171 Community Investment Subfund to fund a capital project in the city of Kingston. Motion second. Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Brackett. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing.
Commissioner Brackett.
I do have something. Does anybody even know what this is? Nobody can see it? What is it?
Yep, Mayor Neal submitted a proposal to me 2 or 3 weeks ago, requesting funding from the Community Investment Fund, which is a part of our capital fund. It was set up several years back for, incentive infrastructure type projects in the cities. So it was an incentive by the county to get the cities to do things, that helped economic or community development. So about 3 weeks ago, Mayor Neal sent me a letter requesting county assistance on an outdoor gym project at City Park. He's had a proposal there. He actually presented it at our mayor's meeting. So we took it before Budget Committee. Budget Committee considered it. The request was actually for $25,000. This is the same fund that you all approved the $3,000 expenditure for Outdoor Kingston for the boat ramp. There's $57,000 remaining in that fund. I knew requests were also coming from Harriman and Rockwood. So instead of I made the recommendation that we grant $15,000 instead of $25,000 and took it to Budget Committee and it passed Budget Committee. So that's what it's for. And I have received those 2 other requests for $15,000 each from Harriman and Kingston. They'll be coming in June.
I'd like to make a motion that we defer this off until somebody from the city can give us a presentation. I'd like to know, $1 or $15,000, if they care enough about it, somebody should walk in here and say, hey, this is what I'd like from this body. This is what I'd like to see. Well, we've not seen it. I'm sure it's a good thing, but you don't just throw money at it,
They brought it to me. And I brought it forward. So if this body would like a presentation from them directly, then I can certainly.
I would like to defer and then somebody come and say, hey, this is what we're wanting from you, or this is that kind of money, and let them show us.
So your motion.
I second.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Brackett, if I'm understanding your motion, is to defer till you see a scope of work.
Give us
or a rough order magnitude of what they're gonna do.
Yes.
All right. And Commissioner Brackett, you seconded it?
Bell.
Yeah, Commissioner Bell.
Yeah, I'd like to get excited about what we're spending the money on too, so you can't really understand and writing exactly what we're getting, so. I'd like to be able to, somebody calls and say, well, you spent $15,000, well, it's an outdoor sport, well, what is that? I can't tell you, but I spent it on it, so it should be good. That's the whole thing about it. Figured out we got contact.
And I'm sure what Commissioner Brackett's also saying that he would like to see the same from Rockwood and Harriman from they submit theirs.
Sure. I just think it's good policy to pay.
Well, so I may have mistaken what my role was in this, to promote this as an incentive. And I can let them know that don't contact me, contact commission. Yeah, if that's.
Give us a presentation.
Yeah. If that's your all's preference, I'll be glad to communicate that.
Well, it needs to go through you, and to see what the body here wants.
All right, Commissioner Burry has the floor.
Yeah, that was the only thing, was when you mentioned Rockwood and Harriman, we're giving it to you, that would be a perfect time to put them all together and hear from all of them. Thank you, Mr.
All right, any other further discussion? Let's see if we can get through this here. This is 05-23-11, for the capital project fund for Kingston Fitness, for the community development.
Sir, I hate to interrupt you, I really do, but I gotta ask this question. I appreciate what Mr. Brackett's saying, and I understand exactly what Mr. Brackett is saying and what Mr. Bell said. But as the county executive, isn't it his responsibility, we meet once a month. He meets with these city leaders and other leaders daily. Isn't it his role to do that and interact with them? And then when there is a decision to be made, he can make that decision and then bring it to the county body on a monthly basis? Or does, every time their decision has to be made, does he have to defer it to the commission? I don't know if that's our role for them to present it to us, or is that authority that he has to be able to say,
When it comes to spending funds, the elected legislative body, us, the county commission, approves that expenditure. So, but it's his mission in, community development, so it's, but as we say, we have, for the resolution to amend it, we're gonna send it back to them for a scope of work or a project, approval.
I mean, I comprehend what it said, but if the mayor of Hamron or Rockwood or Oliver Springs or Kingston, if they interact with the county executive, I know, it just seems like there's a decision somewhere missing, I don't know, or where you.
The county commission is the appropriation of the money. The county executive, he's got a ship per se, and talking to these folks and getting ideas. But at the end of the day, we decide if we spend the money or not. So you're asking these 15 folks to vote up or down on something. We don't even know what it is. Do you know what an outside court is?
Well, I do, but yeah, I understand what it is because I'm on budget, and so.
Okay, so
he explained
we're not on the
Yeah.
budget.
I mean, I know what, you asked me, so I had to be honest with you, but what I'm trying to say is, there's a lot of other things that he interacts with. Do we take that role?
We're the appropriators of the dollar, so.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yes. Commissioner, Gann has the floor. Commissioner Gann, are you, anything else?
Yeah, no, I'm done.
All right, Commissioner Bell.
Yeah, I don't think no harm, no foul here. I mean, just from now on, I would say, when you see it,
Now,
if this gets voted deferred, from now on they come to you.
I don't think that's the issue at all. I think it's an issue of, I see both sides of where you're coming from. I think what I hear Mr. Gann saying is, it's a matter of, is my recommendation or the budget committee's recommendation enough for you to consider to spend this money, or would you rather have direct information from those who are requesting it? I think that's the distinction that we're trying to make here. And if it's this body's recommendation or preference, that they would rather have a direct presentation as opposed to a recommendation from those who have been presented to. I mean, that's you're choosing what your identity is.
At least not to have a handout.
Well, it's like, present it to the budget, come in here and present it to the full commission. That's what in my eyes, that's what needs to be done. Because from now on, if I don't see it, unless it's just a crazy circumstance, I'm not gonna go down that road, but anyhow, I wanna see the presentation. And I'm not on the budget committee.
All right, anything else, Commissioner Bell?
No, sir.
Commissioner Hooks?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought we discussed all of this when we set the money aside in the Capitol, and I may be mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Executive, is this part of the ARC money?
No.
No, not part of the ARC.
No,
This is 171 capital project fund for community investment fund.
CIF.
But when it was set up, it was discussed as to what it would be for, and I thought at that time that we were given you the authority to talk to these city leaders, and let them bring a proposal to you and let you, take it and bring it to the budget committee, that it still has to come before the full body when you go to spend the money. This is just a recommendation.
Anything else, Mr. Hook?
I guess we just need to, make a 15-member budget committee.
I'd be for that. That's really what it is,
All right, thank you guys for your wisdom there. Commissioner Brackett.
Just to clean this up, I'm not saying I'm against it, but I'm saying if you go anywhere and ask for money, you need to show something. If I asked you for $500, you're gonna wanna know why, right? I'm from Kingston getting Empire State Built, but I wanna see what it is, what it's gonna cost, what's it gonna take away, where's it gonna be? Is it taking away a tennis court? Is it taking away? So there's a whole lot to it, not just, and guys, I'm not gonna always agree with your budget committee, Mr. Hooks or whoever else is on it. I'm just gonna tell you right now, just cause it says it goes through the budget committee, that don't mean I'm gonna come up here and hit a yes button, or that I should have to. So, I'm just letting you know, I mean, it seems like it's been through the budget committee, let's jump it through, throw money. I'm just telling you, when somebody comes and asks for money, we ought to do our due diligence. Where's it at? What's it taking away? How much is it gonna cost? Total, are we helping or are we hurting? So that's where I'm at with that. Thank you.
Commissioner Burry.
Yes, sir. I think if we'll go back, and I can see where Mr. Cresswell had a problem, because we did allocate money. We allocated money for the communities. But at the same time, and I think one of the things that, and this may be a good time to just go ahead and clear it up, is that we've got a process. We've got a committee. If there's money involved, it comes to the budget committee. Then from the budget committee, it comes to this committee to dispense the funds where it's going to happen. I've said it for years since I've been sitting on here, that for some reason, it's always been concluded that if it goes to the budget committee, it's the gospel. And that really has always intrigued me, because sitting on the budget committee now, we get it. We get all these resolutions before us, and we act on them based on the information that we have. We didn't have any more information than you did tonight in fact, we discussed it. What's it for? And I think we finally realized there was some of this stuff was like at a walkway on Lad Landing and stuff. So we discussed some of that, but we don't have any more information, and I hope nobody on the budget committee really gets their feelings hurt because somebody's going to disagree with them. But we're four commissioners that get information before, and in most cases, as you've seen, we get it right. We agree. But there's going to be some times, but I think what Mr. Cresswell got here was that money had been set aside. He did get a request, and appropriately, he took action in the fact that he didn't recommend 25, he recommended 15. So he was doing what he felt was right. But I think we just, again, it goes back to, we choose when we need to bring stuff from a committee, when we don't need a committee. We're working, hey, we're good. We're only been in this thing, 8 months, 7 months? 8 months, so it's a process. And we're working through that process, and I think we're doing fine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can I build on his point real quick? I have, either way, all my, comments were about was, you all get to decide that. If you all choose that you wanna see a direct presentation from those asking, then I'll make sure that when we bring the next two forward, that Harriman Rockwood are here to do theirs along with Kingston too. It's your decision. I just wanna know what the rules are here so I don't misstep. That's all I was saying. I learned too.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, we're gonna call the vote on the amendment to have 05-2312 for cities and those individuals requesting money out of the Capital 171 Capital Improvement Fund project, which has $57,000 in it. We're gonna ask for a scope of work and a plan for said funds to be expended. Does anyone?
The motion was to, I'm sorry.
That is, I'll try to say
The motion
it.
was to defer it pending a presentation. That was the actual motion.
Yeah, I'm sorry, to defer and require a scope of work.
Right.
With
Is that
the
correct?
expenditure of funds.
So to defer it, till when?
Until the presentation is given, is that correct?
Until scope of work can be.
Find out what we're looking at. I mean, let's defer it and know what we're talking about, get everybody in.
And that was, we also amend that to all expenditures out of this fund.
Yes.
Which would cover all the municipalities in the county.
Yes.
All right, everybody, agreement with what I just said? I'm not even sure I am, but Madam Clerk. All right, so it is passed, the amendment is passed, so now, let's post up 05-2312 as amended.
Well,
Any
actually,
discussion?
it's
Do I
been-
hear a motion in a second?
It's actually been deferred.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Um,
See, I told you I was confused myself. 05-2313,
yeah, let me just find that.
resolution approving the proposal of the Roane County Comprehensive Plan prepared by the Community Development Partners.
We're actually on 12.
12.
11 has been deferred pending the presentation and all the stipulations, and now we're on 12.
Well, I wrote it in on 12, so, that's why when you spend that much time on it, I'll sit up here and doodle, and, there ain't no. Like I got a lot to say during it. 05-2312. Joint Venture Fund, 357/357 ICF reflecting changes in the revenue estimate. Hear a motion and a second, please. All right, have a motion and a second. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Gann.
I'm good.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the vote. 5-23-12 passes. 5-23-13, resolution approving the proposal of Roane County, I was reading it, comprehensive, plan prepared by the Community Development Partners. That's one I read before. Motion and second. Motion by Gann, second by Brackett. Commissioner Gann.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Brackett.
I think this is a good thing to look long-term. I mean, the growth is here. It's proven that we're growing daily. We've got to start looking ahead and capture some of this and what we need to do infrastructure-wise, and it's gonna look at all of this to try to point us in the right direction.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the vote. Majority passed. Resolution 05-2314, resolution amending the general fund 101, reflecting changes in the revenue expenditures estimates for a health department for the 22-23 fiscal year. Motion and second. Commissioner Berry, Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Berry.
Yeah, I would defer to Mr. Cresswell, or our health department guru is here. She chime in.
I confer, Laura, we need to get that far, but basically what you're seeing in revenue code, you see $56,000, $600 in from state, $56,600 being spent, local level. This is not county money.
All right. Commissioner Wilson. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the vote. Before I take a motion to adjourn, I must inform you that on June 29th, motion passes majority. June 29th, we'll have a special call commission meeting, for the FY 24 budget. So more to follow as that comes out.
All right, could I speak?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to invite everyone to graduation. Graduation season is starting on Thursday. We've got Roane County Virtual Academy, 5 p.m. Harriman High School. The Midtown Education Center GAP program, 6 p.m. on Thursday at Harriman High School. Friday, Roane County High School, 7:30. Saturday, 9 a.m. Harriman High School, 11 a.m. Midway High School, 7:30 p.m. Rockwood High School, and then next Tuesday, Oliver Springs at 7:30. Hopefully those will be on the football field. If not, they'll be in the gym.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Gann, second by Wilson. Wilson.
Thank you, sir.